All right, I want to talk about one of the books that I've written, and with the book today, I have a lot of copies of the book, and the name of the book is Enough is Enough. And I wrote this book some time ago. There's a reason why I actually want to talk about this book, because I've come to realize that the essence of the publication of this book, as at that time, is unveiling. Is unveiling in many ways that I'm beginning to understand that this season is a season when this book should go viral. It's a season when this book should actually bless life. Not really going viral per se, but it should bless more lives in Africa than at the time when it was being published first. Okay, I'm going to put this on my YouTube, put it on my other space, but I'm doing this under instruction number one, and then I'm also doing this based on the fact that it's going to really bless so many people. Alright, enough is enough. Why did I have to write on enough is enough? I'm a relationship coach. I'm not a motivational speaker per se, but I came to realize that people are actually going through so much that they cannot tell. So many people going through so many things. And I came to realize also that the word prison is not just about people being put in a particular house, chained, and they've been restricted of physical movement. Prison goes beyond someone committing a crime and having to go to court, and then and then the judge says you are guilty, and then you have to face your charges and all of that, and you're being sentenced to so many years in a particular place. You can't go out, your freedom is restricted, and all of that. No. So many people are prisoners. We have more prisoners outside the prison than those in the prison. I'm trying to give you a background to the reason why this book came to existence. We have more prisoners outside the prison than those in the prison. In fact, those in the prison actually are not even prisoners. Yeah, compared to what people are actually going through, compared to the kind of level of freedom that so many people cannot have, maybe due to what they've done in the past or whatever. And then beyond this, I also see something, which is one of the reasons why so many people are in their prison that they are, whether prison by government custody or prison by life situations. And that thing is the past. A lot of people are in their emotional prison, psychological prison, physical prison, all because of what they've done in the past. What they've done in the past. Now, I came to understand. I'm trying to explain. What is the past? Events that took place sometime. Something that has happened and we've passed that age, we've passed that time, we've passed that day, we've passed that week, we've passed that month. Most time we've passed that year. But see, that event is still alive, keeping many people in chains, keeping many people in a particular situation. And so, part of what really bothered me to write the book also is that the majority of people in this prison are young people. For Christ's sake, how can you be 25 and you are in prison? And see, listen, when I mention prison in all these videos, please understand something. I am not just talking about prison in government custody. I'm also talking of prison, people who are in prison by their minds, by what happened in their past. Maybe something happened in the past, and then because of that, that has really affected them, and they cannot think right again. It disfigured their psychology, disfigured their thinking, disfigured their mind. Those people are still in prison. So when I mention prison, I'm talking about general. So now, majority of people in this situation are young people. There are 3 seasons in every man's life. I call it the 3 seasons of our existence. In the Bible, God says that after the fall of man, God said that man is going to live for 70 years. And if you have strength, you can go for more 5 years. So those that stay up to 90, 100, I've seen burial of 150, 115, 105, 103, there's God's grace and all of that. So the natural time that man should spend on earth, according to what the Bible says, is 70, 75 years. And to me, I try to see it this way. We have 70, 75 years. Let's just say 75 years. If you divide 75 into 3, you should have 25, 25, 25. So we have 3 seasons of our life. The first 25 is the morning of your destiny. The second 25 is the afternoon of your destiny. The third 25 is the evening of your destiny. I'm going to explain them. I don't mind how long this video is going to be, but I really want to impact life. And I will try to share it on some of the platforms. It might not stay forever. I could pull it off anytime, but I really want this to really bless life at this time. Your first 25 years on earth is a time when you are doing so many things like understanding yourself, discovering purpose, working towards it, making your mistakes, making your trial and errors. It's a time when you try to develop yourself. It's a time when you understand why you are here and you see how to pursue it. It's a time when you make your mistakes. As a young person, you make mistakes because you've not been in this world before. So this is your first time, and so everything is new to you. Even though we have people who have gone ahead of us, but then they also had their own mistakes. So mistake is permitted. There's a time you make mistakes in life. People will not pardon. He's still a child. But there's a time you make mistakes in life. People will like, what is wrong with this person? Because they expect that by that time you should have had science, you should have had experience. Now, the second 25 years of your life is a time when you begin to build structure around the things you've done in the first 25 years. It's a time when you've already discovered papers, right? And so what you are now doing now is you are building structure on those papers. You are pursuing that dream. You are giving expression to everything that God has purposed you to do on earth. We don't expect you to make so many mistakes at that age. The evening of your destiny, the last 25 years, is a time when you are preparing, rounding up. You're rounding up everything that you've done, and then you are about to give the baton to someone else. Life is like a relay race. So back to what I was saying. The young people are the people in this mental, psychological, physical, or whatever prison you can talk about. Go to the government prison. The ones that we keep criminals, real criminals that maybe you are caught, kidnappers, and all. Go there, you see, majority of them are below 30, below 40, below 35. We rarely see old people there. So what is the problem? is a part of the reasons why this book came to existence. Enough is enough. For whatever thing that is keeping you. Enough is enough for whatever thing that is chaining you. Now, I want to talk about the past. Everybody has a past. Everybody have had their mistakes. As a coach, I've heard so many things. Sometimes you are counseling someone and you have to go back to check their picture. Because what they're telling you, you are wondering, and this person, people have gone through so many things. They cover it up with makeup. They cover it up with smiles. And you think, oh, everything is all right. No, listen, you think you have a problem, you think you have a bad past. When people tell you their own histories, their own problems, you better keep your mouth shut. You just be quiet. Because you were thinking that everything was bad on your own side, and then now you see someone who is worse. I have several stories to share. I want to share a few. A lady met me some time ago, and then I'm not going to mention her name or whatever. I'm just saying this for the fact of influence and for the fact of impact. She told me how that she's a very pretty girl, good looking, everybody wants to marry her, and many people just come in, suitors from left, right, center, everybody just come in, and she was in a relationship at a time when she discovered that, okay, this is a season where so many people are coming from my hands in marriage. And at this point, she didn't know what to do. Like, honestly, she didn't know what to do. She didn't even expect that people are going to come that way. She was in a relationship already. And the person that she was in a relationship with, this guy, wasn't too nice with her. But because she loved the guy, she didn't want to, you know how some ladies can just be in a relationship and they're being mistreated and so many things happening, but let's just according to her, quote. Alright, so the relationship was going on. They had their own issues, just like every other relationship, because misunderstanding is inevitable in every relationship. But see, something happened, and this lady was no more comfortable with the young man, because I mean she's seeing some other people who are coming in, and and these people are becoming caring, becoming nice, and all of that. And along this time when they usually have these issues, according to her, every week something must happen, and they have to have issues, and each time they have this issue, they could go 2 days, 3 days without talking, and all of that. Block and unblock, all this kind of crazy, childish, immature kind of behaviors in a relationship. So the point is this: she said okay that she's not doing anything, and the man was like, some men, they don't know what they have until they're about to lose it. So when the man discovered that, okay, this lady, normally if I don't talk to her for some days because we have an issue, she will try to call me, she will try to send someone to call me, or stuff like that. That's for ladies who are too emotional and they just give up their life to a guy. They make a guy understand that if you are not there, I am a nobody, and that kind of stuff. That is the point where sometimes I say, no matter how much you love a guy as a girl, do not show too much of your love, because some of these guys, they can just use you and dump you. They can just mess you up, especially when they know that, hey, if I'm not there, you're gonna feel bad, and you can't do without me, and all of those kind of things. So when the guy started understanding that this girl is beginning to drift off, like really drifting off, he knew that there was a problem. He knew definitely that there was a problem. And then the girl was seeing someone other people, because I mean, as a girl, you can't say that you are tied to one relationship. I do preach it even as a coach. You can't say that you are tied to one man, to one relationship, and the person is not helping matters, and other sisters are coming that are serious, and then you say, no, I'm in a relationship. No, you don't do that. End that relationship and get to people who are serious. So she told the guy one of the days that she's not doing again. And the guy, out of pride, because he's been always, acting and, saying all of those things, so thought that the girl was joking. Long story cut short, the girl was now becoming more closer to this other guy that was serious marrying her, posting pictures and stuff like that. And one of the week like that, the guy came to meet the parents. Everything was very, very serious. But meanwhile, this is a guy, the other guy, I'm dating the guy for like close to 2 years and never had come to meet the parents or whatever. So this one was serious, was caring, was nice and all of that. And then everything was going so well. TM, traditional marriage dates were all fixed. White wedding, everything was all fixed. And the TM was done. I think it was a white wedding that they wanted to do. In the TM, when they posted the flyer for the TM, the guy commented, I was like, you regret this. And that was a threat. And I wasn't aware of this, because if I was aware, I would have told her, you need to get that guy arrested. Yeah. Because he's, according to her, she said so many things in that private message, and then came to the comment section and said you will regret this. So kind of threats, you don't just, you should get to the police and then you write an understatement. But I think the girl didn't really take the guy very serious. But this is what happened. The girl was raped in 2 nights before her white wedding. Raped. But because of the way things were going, the traditional marriage was now strictly based on invitation, and it was more of a family meeting, a family gathering stuff. It wasn't a big stuff as they wanted, because of the threats and the fear and all of that. I don't know how the guy came to know where the lady was going to do her bridal shower and all of that. And guess what? To cut the long story short, they had to, get the girl. One of the nights, I don't know where she was going to, they ganged up and they beat the girl. She had so many bruises, her face. Thank God they didn't pour acid on her. It was something else. She passed out. Someone had to, a bike man crossing out to, I think when they saw the bike man crossing, a road was blocked, and then people started using that road, because that road wasn't a road that many people used to use. So I think cars were blocked in the major road, so many people started using. So when they now saw lights coming and cars coming, so they had to leave her, else they would have killed her. And when they came, look at the idea, I had to rush her to the hospital. A fine, beautiful girl, disfigured. I mean, totally disfigured. Is it her leg? Is it the face, the nose, the mouth? Bruises everywhere. But you see, the family of the girl, the family of the boy insisted that the boy should not marry the woman. Even when the guy came to the hospital to come and see, I mean, it was, imagine who you want to marry in such a situation. Probably maybe the major reason why the guy wants to marry her was because she was good looking or whatever, but that was the situation. Bruises. The wedding was postponed. We thought it's just about postponing, that they can, talk about it and then reschedule. After 2 weeks, they said they're not in again, that they want a refund of all their traditional rights according to the tradition and all of that, and everything was returned back. You can imagine how terrible it was. The girl was in the hospital for 2 months, receiving treatment from pains on the back, from the leg, from the head, from everywhere. After 2 months, I think after the first month, they now told her I think that treatment would have lasted for 1 month. But after the first 3 weeks or so, I don't know how she got to know, as when she had come back to herself fully, they now told her that the wedding was not going to hold again, that they returned back the things. And I think that day, according to them, and according to her, she said her temperature was high, and so many things happened that day, and I think she had some issues, and I think she fell into a very deep depression. She fell into a very deep depression, and she had so many other issues. She fainted and all of that, and the the whole thing escalated, and the doctor said that she have to stay 1 more month again. But to cut all these stories short, when she was coming out of the hospital, 2 weeks after she was coming out of the hospital, that's now 2 months and 2 weeks, the guy that wanted to marry her was planning another wedding with someone else. Just 2 months. What? That was another heavy down on her, because she was thinking that, okay, let's say if this happened, that maybe they will just get along again, because she really loved the guy. Was getting married to someone else. And a doctor had to advise that the parents should take her out of that town. They should get her busy with some other things, so that she doesn't have to fall under any other psychological influence or even to commit suicide or whatever. Because I think she's someone that is very, very emotional. Now, going down to everything that happened, she came for counseling. This is where I got to know all these stories I'm telling you. That happened ever since, and then after like 3 years or so, that was when she's now coming to me to tell me all these stories. And then she told me that since that time till now, that thing still live in her mind. Many guys have come for marriage. She said no, she's not interested. In fact, she said that she's not going to marry again, that all she just wants to do is to get pregnant for any guy or whatever and have a baby. Anyhow, she can just have a baby, just one child, and she's okay. When she was saying this, I had to go to her profile to check the picture of someone who said was under a hospital for 2 months, bruised everywhere. You need to see the lady is looking. I wonder if she's looking like this, how she was looking when the bruises were not there. Only very few marks you can see in her leg or wherever, hand or wherever, but she's still looking very good. But yet, tied, imprisoned to her past. Looking very good, but imprisoned to her past. So any guy who comes now to say, I immediately just mention I love you, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, because in her mind and in everything in her, she understands that I love you is a wicked thing. I don't know if you really understand what I'm trying to say. Also another story, very short one, of a little girl. She was, I think she was 10 years or about 12 years when thieves, criminals entered their house, shot the father and the mother and her 2 siblings. What saved her that day was that she was under a chair or something. They didn't see her. The people came in, shot every one of them. They didn't even ask for money or whatever. I said, so how did you know? Is it that someone was fighting your parents, or you have issue with somebody? They said no. They just came into the house and they shot everybody and left. Like, maybe let's say they were sent to do that, or maybe they were sent to do that for someone else, and then they entered the wrong house or whatever. But according to the girl, they have no issue with anybody. And those people were not coming and saying, give us your money or whatever. They just came in and shot all of them and left. 10 years, that's what she was. I think she was 10 years old or about 12 years old. She was 12 years old then when this incident happened. She's telling me this at age 26. At age 26, 16 years after. No. At age 26, sorry. That's 14 years after. She was 12 years, remember. 12 years when this incident happened. But she's telling me at 26, fast 14 years later, she's still tied to those chains, to those things. So the same heart, if you come to take that God loves you, that repent, give your life to Jesus, she's like, are you okay? Is something wrong with you? Where was God when they shot my parents? When they shot my siblings? And worst of all, when that incident happened, the uncle came, took her in. She thought everything was going to be fine. They used her as a maid for 5 good years, or about 6 good years, before she turned 18. And then she now had to meet someone in church who was not taking care of her pastor's daughter, her pastor's wife, who now took her in. And even taking her in, the uncles were threatening the church to release the girl, if not this, that. Before they had to use the police to, make everything okay. She's 18, so she can make a choice. You are maltreating her, so she can make a choice who to stay. And the girl says she wants to stay with her pastor. That's why they trained her in school. She's a graduate at 26, working and having money. So not like maybe she's maybe not doing well, that's why she's still thinking about it. No, she's doing well. But she doesn't believe in God. I'm trying to take my time to give you a picture of something. So many people damaged emotionally. I have a lot of story in my head. I don't know how to which one to say. You don't know, you may not know how it feels like until you are in that shoe. Do you know what? I know, God forbid, but can you have an imagination of this? A man walks into your house, family house, parents, everybody's around. Shot your father, shot your mother, shot all your siblings. And you are watching how your father, your mother, your sibling, your family is gone. You don't know if to die, if to cry, if to faint, or whatever. So now when someone tells her, God loves you, give your life to Jesus, it's like, what are you talking about? She's in prison. These 2 persons, it took me, in fact, the first one, it took me close to a month talking to her every night, because that's when I have time. It took me up to a month talking to her every night for her to believe that love exists and that you can meet the wrong person before meeting the right person. Even after she admitted it, in one of the night, I felt like crying because she was crying. But even if after she admitted it, she still kept to her stand that she doesn't want to marry. That she doesn't want to do anything to that. Where she's working, that her boss is a woman. The way she was working before, that she had been declining jobs. Even her colleagues, she had made it so clear to those who are males, her male colleagues. So there's no friendship, no relationship, stay on your own. Those ones don't even know why. Because she, according to her, she didn't tell as anybody. I think she said she didn't tell anybody about it. And I'm sure they'll be wondering why this girl's life is so different. No. Before you judge people, try to know try to know their trajectory, how they came to be, their process. Because we are all a product of our journey so far. Don't compare a child who have never been in a public car before, who was born with a silver spoon, who doesn't even know what sweating in the sun looks like, to someone whose life and journey so far has been through the storm, to the dark storm, tears, heartbreaks, difficulties, setbacks. Don't compare. Their journey is different, their process is different, and it's going to be a part of how their form, how their thinking is. And I bet you, if there's one thing that is difficult to change in a man, is the way the man thinks. We can change your kidney. Imagine that. We can change your lungs. Imagine that. In fact, I think there are some places where people can even change their bum, change their breasts, and change things in their body. But hey, there is no machine to change your mind. It's going to take so much therapy to change the way a man thinks. And can I tell you something? One of the ways to unlock people from prison is to change their mind. A man had 2 dogs. I was sharing a story one time ago. He do chain. Most of the dogs are always chained. Always chained because they are very destructive. Very, very. So they are being chained all the time. They can only release them in the night. So one time they traveled and chained the dogs. So there was nobody to unchain them in the night, and so they were permanently chained for close to a week. So when they came back, they now unchained the dogs, but the dogs were still there. Did you get what I said? They unchained the dogs, like they went and removed the chain from where they had put, removed the chain from wherever they hooked it. But the dogs were still there. Do you know why? Because maybe the first 2, 3, 4 hours when they were chained, they tried to move, they couldn't move. And so they remained there. And for many other attempts, they have tried to move. They now know, okay, we are chained. So in their mind, we are chained. Even when they unchain them, in their mind, they are still chained. Until maybe, according to him, he had to push the dogs. Push them. Before, even when we were being pushed, they were being reluctant, looking at the chain, until when they now noticed. And now I felt, okay, we are no more chained again. We can now move. We are now jumping. The mind. The mind. The prison in the mind prison, is more dangerous than the physical prison of putting you somewhere. So, it begged this book. Enough is enough. And this book has a few chapters, and chapter 1 is talking about elastic limit. Chapter 2 is talking about nothing just happens. Nothing just happens. That chapter is very, very important. And then chapter 3 is get angry. Get angry. And then chapter 4 is 8 breaking prayers, and 5 is enforcing destructive faith. I'll see how to cover it. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I have to complete the assignment, and I'll see how to get this done. Okay, chapter 1 has to do with elastic. It's talking about elastic limit. I said here that life is full of troubles. Life is full of pain and disappointments. We endure a lot of things in life, and our level of endurance varies from one person to another. Everybody have their limit to which they endure things. There is a way you can persecute people. The persecution that you are giving to 10 persons, they are all going to receive the same persecution, the same flogging, the same whatever you are doing. But they are all going to receive it in the degrees of their elastic limit, in the proportion to which they can carry it. Some might faint in the process. Some can still stand without even the pain. Some can cry. Some can. So we all have our elastic limit to how we can endure pain. That's what this place is trying to say. And then we say again, however, generally speaking, human beings endures a lot of things in life. We can endure to a certain extent all kinds of things such as pain, distress, discomfort to a certain degree before we begin to break, panic, or grumble. Okay, now I said something again here. It is rainy season now, and some of us are really enjoying the heavy downpour. And I know some of you can't wait for the water to dry up. We endure all these things with the hope that the discomfort will soon go away. We endure certain things in life with the hope that things will change for the better. There's a limit to a man's endurance. There's a time that a man will be pushed to the wall, and the same man who has been enduring pain and being around will turn to you and say, enough is enough. So, what is your elastic limit? Listen, I'm not saying that pain is bad. I'm not saying that endurance is difficult or easy. But I think our elastic limit will determine how long we are going to stay in a particular place. So many of us, we are going through so many things, tormenting us. Our past is hating us. And the devil is very, very crafty. He knows how to build those mental pictures. He can do it. He knows how to set you up mentally. See, the devil is not about your finances. The devil doesn't come straight to your marriage. He doesn't even come straight to your business. He wants to capture one part of your life. Once he captures this particular thing, he has captured everything. And that thing is your mind. Once the devil can capture your mind, that's why everything you do is in the mind. He knows that. That's why the Bible says, renew your mind. Renew your mind. And how do you renew? By praying. Reading the Word of God. That's ways you use to renew your mind. When the devil takes captive of your mind, he has imprisoned every other part of your life, including the future. Because now, you will think the way he wants you to think. So everybody has a limit to how they endure. So a man can be enjoying pain. That's why sometimes God allows it. So that they can push you to the wall where you get angry. That's why chapter 3 of this book is mad. It's crazy. Like, get angry is the topic. Because listen, there are so many prisons that we are into in our life that it will only take a certain degree of anger for us to break through. So once the devil can capture your mind, he can capture everything that he wants to capture in you. Everything. So now, we're going to say, so I say here, people endure things generally because they expect the stress to go away. They expect the discomfort not to last a lifetime. But what happens when the sickness continues? What happens when the starvation continues? What you don't stop will continue. Whatever you don't stop has the right to continue. In fact, silence means continue. So imagine that you are just there and a dog walks into your kitchen, opens your pot, and is eating the food in the pot. What do you think is going to happen? You think the dog will just, because he saw you, will run away? No. The dog will continue eating that food until you do something. Whatever thing that is going on in your life, whatever prisoner that you are in your life, whatever situation, problem that you have in your past, whatever thing you've done in the past that is still tormenting you, if you don't stop whatever is tormenting you, you're only giving rise to it to continue. Connotationally, elastic limit is the extent to which one can endure pain, hardship or condition, and our elastic limits differs. Sometimes hope stretches our elastic limit. We just see ourselves being patient because we hope that what is endured will soon be enjoyed. Sometimes our hope works, but most times it does not. No matter how holy or strong anybody or material can be, it will always get to the point where further stretching becomes impossible. What can you use? A rubber band. Any elastic stuff. No matter how you want to stretch it, continue stretching. It will get to a point where it will tear. The third natural law says that action and reactions are equal and opposite. God cannot come down to fight your battles for you. God cannot come down to fight your battles for you. God does not fight battles He is not invited to fight. Stop thinking that things will on its own get better. It is not possible. The life we live is not automatic, it is manual. You have to work for everything. Most times God wants you to act before He reacts. Normally reactions come after actions. You were being oppressed in the dream. Your business is going down by the day. The year is almost gone, no achievement, and you still folding your hands. Stop speaking faith and start acting faith. Patience is a good virtue, but it gets to an elastic limit. But when it gets to an elastic limit, patience is a good virtue, but when it gets to an elastic limit, then apply force. The rule says that when you keep doing the same thing the same way, do not expect a different result. That tells me that if I need a better result, I have to change the pattern. That was just a short chapter, and here is the second chapter which says, nothing changes until it is changed. This chapter really inspires me on something. We don't need so much to illustrate this. Nothing in this life will change something that is constant, except you apply force. Just think about it. When you travel, you leave a key on the table and travel. I don't care where you travel to. If you like, spend 10 years there. If you come back, that key will be there. Nothing changes until it is changed. Just whatever you are passing through today, you will continue passing through that thing until you get angry and say, I am tired of it. Nothing will ever change until you take action to change it. I said here, have you ever asked yourself the reason why you keep failing? You really don't understand. For students, year to year you are a customer to buying jam forms and buying exam forms all over again and again. You invest money into a business, it becomes fruitless. Today you are pregnant, tomorrow you experience miscarriage. Your equals are getting married, yet you are single. When you sleep, witches will use your body. When you sleep, witches will use your body as a drawing board. Everything around you seems to be against you. It is not family issues. It is not a cause. It is not about deliverance. It is about you. You are in such situation because you are still enjoying it. Slaves who kiss their chains remain bound forever. When you get angry in the spirit, even the devil will know that there is a fire on the mountain. Listen. If I have chains on my hands now, and I have chains on my legs now, and I do nothing with that, even in 10 years to come, those chains will not just on their own say, I'm tired of chaining you, let me just break. No. Nothing changes until if I keep kissing that chains, just romancing it, I will still be in bondage till God knows when I get angry and break it. Almost everything we enjoy today was impossible yesterday. Most of the advancements we enjoy today, things like good roads, cars, electricity, they were problems that existed yesterday, but some men came together and actions transformed the impossibilities into reality. Nothing changes until it is changed. There is no prison break without dissatisfaction. There is no prison break without a dissatisfaction. So if you are bound in one room, let's say you are just in one room, and they locked you up, you're going to be in that room forever if nobody comes to open that place. If nothing actually happens, you will stay there. The first Newtonian law states that all object moves in a uniform motion except they are opposed by an external force. In life, everything continues until something stops it. You don't wish to stop crying. You implement laws that stop tears. You don't wish to stop crying. You implement laws. Failure is a continuous experience until somebody gets angry and stops it. Failure is a continuous experience. You will keep experiencing failure in everything you do until you say enough is enough. It cannot happen again. The mistakes a lot of people make in Christianity is that they feel and think and believe that whatever happened or failed to happen in their lives is a function of what God accepts or permits. That's an error from the pit of hell. Listen, whatever you become or whatsoever happens in your life and destiny is a function of what you permit. It is not all up to God. Any man or woman, boy or girl that thinks and believes that his lifting is a sole responsibility of God is an irresponsible Christian. Because whatever you experience or whatever you encounter or whatever happens or fail to happen to your life is a function of what you allowed. The Bible says in Isaiah 54 verse 17, it said, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. It is thou, not God. It is what you say that he says. That is why he said in Matthew 18 verse 18, verily, verily I say unto you, whatsoever you shall bind on earth is bound in heaven. In other words, it is the earth that determines what heaven binds. Another version says, whatsoever you permit on earth is permitted in heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened to you is what you allowed. The last miscarriage, it was because you allowed it. The last accident happened because you allowed it. That disappointment happened because you allowed it. That last evil confrontation took place because you allowed it. I wish everybody can have this book. The tap will continue to gush out water until somebody stops and tap. The tap will continue to gush out water until somebody turns the tap off. Whether you are cold or warm, the fan will always rotate until you turn it off. In Proverbs 30 verse 15 to 16 said, the hushlet have 2 daughters, crying, give. There are 3 things that are never satisfied. Yea, 4 things say not it is enough. Verse 16, the grave and the barren woman, the earth that is not filled with water, and the fire that said not it is enough. That place we read from said there are 3 things, especially 4, that are never satisfied. If you allow them, they will want to keep consuming. Verse 10 says, they never say it's enough. In other words, it is your duty to stop these things from consuming further. Psalms 91 says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Verse 2 says, I will say of the Lord. The English language, we have 2 things called the subject and the predicate. He that dwelleth in the is the subject. I will say is the predicate. In other words, that is what empowers other sentences that come after. You are dwelling in the secret place of the Most High, under the shadow of the Almighty, but you may not experience protection until you say of the Lord. Until you say of the Lord. Meaning you can be carrying divine security until meaning you can be carrying divine security and still die in mediocrity. Meaning you can be carrying divine security and still die in mediocrity because you don't understand the place of activity. He said, you shall tread upon serpent and scorpion. So if you refuse to tread upon serpent, they will bite you. It is either you are a prey or a prayer warrior. God can say you are God can say you will be wealthy, yet you die poor. School is open to everyone, true of us, but school fees determine access to class. When they left Egypt, when the children of Israel left Egypt, God said 2 million of them will get to the promised land, but only Joshua and Caleb entered. Only 2 out of 2 million. Did God lie? No. How can God say 2 million and only 2 persons made it? How can God say before the end of this year that you'll be rich and you still remain poor? It is not all up to God. It is all up to you. Those 2 million felt they could do anything and behave anyhow. After all, God has spoken. He can't lie. They felt because God has spoken, He has spoken. God said no. Every prophecy without a condition is a mere announcement. Any prophecy without a condition is an entertainment. The Bible said that the first thing you must say enough is enough to is a grave. The grave is never satisfied. The grave takes the old, it takes the young. The grave kills the slave, it kills the free. The grave is never satisfied until you say it is enough. What that tells me is that the power of hell has been dished out to take lives, to kill, to destroy, until somebody gets angry. You see families today, they keep losing family members. Mother dies, sister dies, mother dies, parents dies, father dies, because I'm beginning to get tired. So I think everybody needs this book. I may not really go through reading all of these things one after the other, but this book is power-packed. This book is power-packed. Enough is Enough is a book that I think every young person needs. Even the old needs it. Because I believe that one of the things that the devil is trying to do to keep us from achieving all what God has made us, or what God has proposed that we should achieve, is that he wants to keep us somewhere. He wants our fruitful years to be wasted. He wants us to be kept one place while time is going. He wants us to just get crippled early. Because a crippled man has limitations to what he can do. I wish every young person can see and understand this. You see, when they say, don't do this as a young person, don't do this before you get married, don't do this after marriage, don't do this and do that. It looks as if someone is giving you conditions to live your own life. But listen to me. Many people who are telling you don't do this actually did those things. And they knew where those things landed them. And they knew how they even could come out a bit after that happened. So when they are telling you that you should not do this, they know the reason why they are saying that. Because they've been there before. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go further on this. I should love to do this more, but then I have to stop here. What are those things that are keeping you? What are those things that keep you in one place? Keep your mind, in one thinking condition. Something keeps telling me that you can't make it. If you do this thing, you'll fail. Remember that you messed up a few years ago. If you come out now, people will start telling you this. This, that. Some of you got raped. Some of you were beaten. Some of you were maltreated. Some of you, had issues when you were growing up. So many issues. The devil saw where you were going to and said, he wants to cripple you early. He wants to cripple you early so that you can't become what God wants you to become. You need to see this. Until you begin to see this, change will never come. Until you begin to act this, change will never come. And like I said before, nothing changes until it is changed. Nothing on earth will change until you say, enough is enough. So if you're interested in this book, write in the comment section, I'm interested, and I'll find a way to see how to give you this book. It's free. I want to give it out for everybody free of charge. I'm not collecting a dime from it. I want to give you the ebook free of charge. So if you are interested, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and comment on this video, and we'll see how to talk and then how I can send you this ebook. So for now, thank you for watching. God bless you. All right, good afternoon, good morning, good night to everyone watching me, depending on where you're watching me from. Today I want to do another segment of this book. I dropped a video before now about this book, Enough is Enough. I wrote the book, and I'm just on an assignment to talk a few things about this book because of the things that is going on in the world, and the way people are actually, passing through so many things. And I think this book should be an answer to those situations and those problems. Okay, so yesterday I want to make a background jump from what happened in the last video and then this video. All right, we're talking about enough is enough. When you hear the word enough is enough, there are many things that come to your mind. You see somebody who is angry, somebody who is tired about something, someone who is saying, okay, I've had it up to here, I cannot do this anymore, I can't take this anymore, and all of that. So it's all about stopping what has been happening. Enough is enough. That means something actually has been happening. So stopping is saying it can't repeat itself again. That's enough is enough. Okay, now we're going through so many things in this life. So many of us are in prison, like I was saying in the last video. Prison in the world is not about the government prison where people offend, do something against the law, and then they are being judged by the courts, and then they are being sentenced to whatever years and death in the prison. We have more people who are walking freely, naturally freely in the streets, who are in prison of their mind, in prison of the things that has happened to them in the past. And so that becomes, a status quo. That is something that is, streamlined to direct their wish, direct their life, whatever thing that they're trying to do. Their past just keep coming up, and then they're like running around circles. And so this book is here to say enough is enough, to tell you how that you can do that. Now we have many chapters in this book. We have number 1. Yesterday we talked about the elastic limit, saying that everybody has an elastic limit to how they can absorb stress, absorb insult, absorb pressures. They have an elastic limit. No matter how you draw a rubber band, it's going to get to a point where it's going to tear. No matter how you draw any elastic stuff, any elastic material, it will get to a point. I think in physics it is in the young modulus experiment that no matter anyhow you want to do it, it gets to a point. It gets to the point where it cuts up. And so we have chapter 2 talking about nothing just happens, and that's true. Not just happen. Those that need to say enough is enough, or those going through the problems that they're going through today, need to understand that nothing just happens. Except to stop something, it will keep happening. If you start up a fan, even if you are getting cold or getting pneumonia from that cold, except you stand up and switch the fan off, it continues running. There's absolutely nothing. I think that one also in physics is I think the first Newtonian law that states that all objects moves and works in a particular velocity except it encounters an external force. That's the first law of Newton, the first Newtonian law. Yeah. So everything, if you keep something in your room and travel to wherever, God knows where you travel to, and you come back, you're going to see that thing there, except something or an external force or something has pulled that thing out of that place. So what does that mean? That means that if you keep getting pregnant, having miscarriages every year, if you do not understand, if you do not get to see what is the reason why this is happening, if you don't get angry to say, okay, this can never happen again, enough is enough, it will keep happening. In life, silence means continuation. Just let it continue until you get angry. And so I made a picture of saying that slaves that kiss their chains, they remain bound. So that means that if you are in chains, for instance, I'm in chains here and I just stay here, all I do with the chain is just to kiss the chain, to mask the chain. I will still be in chain until I get angry to see how to do what, remove everything. You can't just hope to stop crime. You can't just hope to stop poverty. You have to implement laws that stops poverty. So that's what that point is saying. And then the third one is get angry. almost related to, okay, that's like a reaction to the second chapter, which says nothing just happens. So if nothing just happens, that means you need to get angry to get things to work. And so we have earth-breaking prayers, we have enforcing destructive faith. And so, but today, I want to talk about failure. It's another part in this book that I didn't mention. I want to talk about failure, and I want to talk about reasons why people fail. It's always a reason why people are failing. And I made mention of something the last video, and I said that our life is streamlined in 3 segments. We have the first 25 years, we have the second 25 years, and we have the last 25 years. Now the Bible says that, the Bible quotes a place where God said that after the fall of man, God said that man is going to live for 70 years. And if by mercy or if he has more strength, he's going to stay up to 75 years. So now, using that as an example, yes, we've had people who stayed up to 80 years, 90 years. I've seen a poster, a burial poster of 102, 115, 110. That's mercy of God and strength. But then, you see, naturally, according to the Bible, after the fall of man, God said 75 was like the benchmark of man's existence on earth. Now, 75 divided into 3 gives us 3 seasons of our life. And in that last video, I tried to explain how that the first season of the first 25 years of our life is like the morning of our lives. The second 25 is the afternoon of our life, and the last one is the evening. So our life is like a day. See how short it is. Our life is like a day. Now, the morning of your destiny, what happens in the morning? Morning is a time of refreshment. Morning is a time where you plan. Morning is a time when you discover. Morning is a time where you try to, get to do the things that you are going to do for the rest of the day. You plan out, okay, I'm going to be here by so time, I have a meeting by so time. So it's more of a planning time. It's more of discovering yourself. So as a young person and below 25 years, of course you should know that first 25 years of your life is not supposed to be a waste. And then I see people at 40 trying to get back to school. I see people at 30 trying to find people. For Christ's sake, what have you been doing in your first 25 years? So you see, that's the problem. That's one of the reasons why so many people are failed. Because time when they are supposed to be kids, they were still kids, and then time when they're supposed to be more serious, they are still kids. They're not growing, there's no growth. So those are the, and then they thought the second season is the second 25 years of our life, and I said is a period of time when you start to put into place those things that you've discovered about yourself. So let's say you discover that you're going to be a coach, and maybe you're going to do this, you're going to do that. That's first 25 years of your life is a time of discovery. Now the second one is the time you put those things that you've discovered into practice. And I also said something that the first 5 years of your life you could make mistakes, and people were like, okay, see a child, but there's a time you make mistakes in life. Probably the second 25 years of your life, and people were like, you can't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing this. So when you look at those things, you discover that they expect that you should have grown, because why? You are in the afternoon of your life, and it's always a serious time. And I think afternoon is always very serious. Everybody is at the peak of trying to get things done. If you're working if you're working as if you're having a white collar job, you see that time is when your boss is like, okay, we've not done this, we need to do this and all of that. So it's a time where you try to get things done. Now the last phase of your life is the time when you're running up. You're trying to get everything that you've done to be perfect, and then you are about to give the baton to the next person. So this is how life is. So now we're going to go back to this part that says why people fail. Everything that happens have a reason. If you are succeeding, there's a reason why you are succeeding. If you're failing, there's a reason why you are failing. So why do people fail? So I have a lot of things to say, but I just want to read what I've written here. There's no action without a reaction, no result without reason. Every action is accomplished with a reason, and until reason is checked, the action remains progressive. Okay? You failed not because you wish to fail, but because there are many other things that back up failures. It says while walking, if you fail, you neglect the reason. If while walking you fail and you neglect the reason why you fail, you are bound to fall again. If you fail and you don't know the reason behind your failure, then you will keep failing. So then I now said a mistake is not a mistake until it is repeated. The following are the reasons why you fail. Now, failure is not bad on its own entirely. Failure is not bad. To fail is not bad. Of course, it's not. Now, this is what is bad. What is bad is if you do not learn anything from that failure. If you do not stand up from that failure and put up more, give life more reasons to succeed. Every great man on earth failed in one part, in one aspect of their life. So failure isn't really a very bad thing. So if we are saying why you fail, you need to know why you fail. So I was walking down the staircase and I fell down. So why did I fail? Is it because of what I wore? Or is it because I wasn't paying attention to the stairs? Or is it because I was too fast? You need to know why you fell. Because if you do not know why you fell, there's going to be a problem. Because there are chances that it's going to repeat itself again. So the first reason why people fail is because I think that's absence of self-discovery. Absence of self-discovery. And then discovery leads to recovery. Discovery leads to recovery. When essence is not discovered, misuse is inevitable. If you buy a phone and you don't know anything about the phone, operating it will be a problem. And it is more or less useless to you because you cannot go far with it. Success starts when you first discover your potentials. In the discovery of your potentials, you see three things: who you are, what you can do, and what you want. Who you are, what you can do, and what you want. So, reasons why people fail. And so, I said again here that when you don't understand your kind of person, you wouldn't know what you can do and what you want. Then when you don't understand your personality, you will keep living a borrowed life, which can only favor the owner. Yes. So, imitation leads to limitation. If you're trying to follow in if you try following someone's behavior, you always crash because you are two different persons with different natural endowments. You can't fill in petrol into a stove which was meant to use kerosene. You know what will happen. Okay, I'm trying to pick a picture here that imitation leads to limitation. So everybody have their powers. Everybody have their strengths. Everything in life is streamlined for a particular use. So you cannot use petrol to put into something that was meant to use gas or to use some other petroleum agents or whatever. Now, the point is this: if you have the power to become anything, you need to stay original. If you must copy anybody, you must want to copy the person to add more value to what you've copied and bring up something that is original, because imitation will always lead to limitation. All right. The next thing that makes people fail is failure mentality. So I said Proverbs 23 verse 7, and I quote from the Bible: "As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is." Whatever is too big for you to imagine in your heart will be too big for you to receive. What you can't perceive, you can't receive. Perception aids reception. If you must seize it, then you must first have it. So many persons in life predict their future due to their past failures in life. Maybe last semester as a student, you failed the course. Instead of moving on, looking for strategies and tactics to deploy as to cover up and make more grades, you become discouraged and start looking for persons you may likely blame. So what I'm trying to say is that failure mentality is one of the reasons why so many people fail. How do you think? I think in my last video I said something that one of the biggest challenge with humans is the challenge with the way we think. It is easy to change the kidney. It is easy in quotes, to change the lungs. It's easy to do anything with that, change our bones or, fix anything about our body. But you see, the mind is one thing that sometimes very difficult to change. The way you think will always inspire what you do. So if you think failure, there is no how you think failure and you see success. It's not possible. So if you think failure, you will see failure. So one of the reasons why many people fail is, number one, I said absence of self-discovery. Number two, I said failure mentality. So how do you think? If you're someone that something just happened to you and you're like, oh, I can't do this. I cannot. I don't feel like. You're already telling yourself, see, the words have power. When you talk to a situation and you're like, I cannot do this, every part of your body psychologically accepts that, see, this thing is impossible. But when you say, okay, fine, no matter what it is, I can do this. I've seen practically in my life where I had to start over doing something after I have failed. Starting over in life. You can never start over in life if you have a failure mentality. Because you are already discouraged at arrival. So, failure mentality number two. Then, number three, I mentioned lack of preparation. A lot of us, we are too fast. We don't want to prepare. We just want to go in there and then just see how it is. I think one of the times there was an interview, they asked somebody, if you have 1 million naira, what are you going to do with it? And the lady said, let me have the 1 million naira first. So that is the mentality we have in life. We don't want to prepare for anything. We just want to. And then I say here, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. For you to be successful in life, you must plan out your work out your plan. Nothing goes for nothing. Success doesn't work by luck or means of chance. It is by preparation. Preparation liberates determination, and determination introduces focus. Your inability to prepare in the past is your responsibility to repair in the future. So what that means is this: if you fail to plan, you are preparing to fail. I think it's only success that really wants you to work. If you want to fail, just don't do anything. Don't do anything and failure is there. Failure doesn't really need you to struggle. You don't struggle to fail. You don't struggle to fail. Even though we struggle and at the end of the day we fail because of one or two things, but we do not really struggle to fail. If you really make up your mind to fail, do nothing. Because nothing alone on its own is failure. So your inability to prepare is your responsibility to repair in the future. So therefore, the level of preparation, garbage in determines the level of success. Yeah. The level of preparation, garbage in, is almost like a computer, garbage in, garbage out. So now the fourth reasons why people fail is a fear of being despised. I think in my life I've had this to be a problem to me. You want to do something and you're like, how will this person, how will people see? How will they think about it? What would they see? How will my friends see me? When you begin to put people's opinions, consider people's opinions first before you think of what to do, then you are already preparing yourself for failure. You are already preparing yourself for failure. So you do not have to think of whether you're going to be mocked by your friends, or whether you are going to, have yourself being called names and all of that. You just need to be sure that, okay, I want to do this and this is what I want to. You set it. Following your heart is the best. Yeah. You don't imitate anybody. Follow your heart and don't think whether or not someone is going to clap for you or laugh at you. I have a good news for you. You are not okay. I was trying to read a particular side. Okay, if 3 persons are being blind, and if 3 persons are being blindfolded and an elephant is brought before them, and the question is, what is the element all about? Now, the first may touch the tail and call the big elephant a rope. The second may touch the horn and call the big elephant the trumpet, and so on. So everybody have their opinions in life. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. So you need to care. If you must succeed in life, you need to care less about what people say or do. You need to care less about what people say or do. Focus on your life. Focus on why you are here. Focus on how to make your life better. If you're considering what people are going to say before you do the things that you need to do, then you may never do anything. Alright, so the next one is leaning on the past. Considering the past is one of the steps to failure. For you to try to move higher in life, you must learn from the past and not to lean on the past. Now, learning and leaning are not the same thing. So, like I said before, if you fail, you need to know why you failed. And so, knowing how you failed is different from leaning on your failure. It's like you failed. You tried a business, it didn't work. And so, you are like, it means I'm not cut out for business. No. In psychology, I think that is called hasty generalization. You don't have to say you can. It's like people that say all men are scam, all women are this. That's hasty generalization. So all you need to do is try put more effort. Failure is not bad, but then when you lean on it, when you sit on it, when you say, okay, because I failed in this thing, it means I cannot do this thing again. I cannot do anything around this again. No. You don't have to do that. What you need to do is to learn why did I fail? What was the thing that made me to fail on this business? Because I don't think there's any business that you want to do that anybody hasn't done before. I don't think there's any failure that you want to fail that people have not failed in that aspect before. So what you need to ask yourself is, why did I fail? Why? And so when you know the why, you will know the how, and you will know what to do next. The how, okay, the why, the how, and the what. Okay? So the past shows two significant things. The sorrow, the consequences you brought due to your failure, those things that led to the failure. But the only thing you need from the past are those things that led to your failure, like I said. So now, the next one is fear of failure. So there are people that they want to be so perfect. You see this by wedding? I don't want food to be a problem. I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. It's good to so prepare that you don't want to fail, but not to have a problem, just keep a space for failure, because there is just one way disappointment may just show up. Because if you just feel that everything is going to go well, when you hit failure, it might hit you so down that you may not want to rise up again. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because expecting not to fail is failure itself. When you expect so much perfect, like you want things to be so perfect, something might just break in and then you have a problem. So reduce your expectations on life and then plan well, yet still give room for failure so that you can see how to handle it. Failure starts when you disbelieve your potential. It continues when you become afraid to fail, and ends when you forcefully attack problems. People who fear in life fail greatly. If you are afraid of failing, then you will never achieve failure. Like I said, if you never achieve failure, you will never know how to manage success. Failure is part of success. Fail so much that it frustrates you until you succeed. Each failure provides a muscle of knowledge that you will need to get up there. For you to be above failure, you must be above your thoughts, your deceptive mind, and also you must be above the past. So I said fear is false events appearing real. Fear. So if you write fear, F-E-A-R, false events appearing real. Sometimes 90% of what we are afraid of are actually afraid of us. Yes. 90% of what we are afraid of are actually afraid of us. So you need to understand that fear is just one tool that we use to make sure that we fail. Alright, so the next one is extravagant spending. I think this is more like a problem that young people have. So you're working in a place and you're giving you some stipends and they call it salary, and then because you think you're going to work there forever or you're going to work there for a very long time, and so each time they pay you that stipends, you just have no plan for your life, no savings, nothing. You just keep spending, and one day the company wakes up and be like, we don't need anymore, and then you are financially down. And sometimes, aside from those who are working, those who are handling business, you don't even know how to keep, your credits, your debits. You don't even know how to get to know the transactions happening in your business, and all you just do is spend unnecessarily, no plan, nothing. Failure is very close. So extravagant spending is one of the reasons why people fail. Unwise spending is another ladder that brings you down to zero level. I've seen so many people that had millions of naira. Of course, we can have reference to people who were very rich before, and because they didn't know how to handle their wealth, they came down back to their zero level. And let me tell you something, it is worse when you've tested fame and then you are back to the zero level. It's worse. You could even do mad things. You could go on depression. You could even hang yourself, because you've had a taste of it and then you are down. People still think you are there, but you know deep down that you're not there. It feels so bad. So, extravagant spending. So the next one now is influence from friends and peers. I think that's the last one. Influence from friends and peers. Influence from friends and peers. I think this also for the young people. Like they say, show me your friend and I will show you, or I'll tell you who you are. That is to say that we are not too different from the company we keep around us. So if you are keeping around, if you keep people who just don't have plan for their life, sometimes it's not as if they don't have plan. I think sometimes the problem is us. Know your background, know where you come from, and walk in that view. And I am not saying this to say that we should not aspire for more. You can aspire for more in life, but please, even as you are aspiring for more, try as much as possible to know where you come from. It gives you a line to where you are going to. Some of us come from families that depend on us. Some of us come from families that we depend on. You cannot equate yourself if you come from a family that depends on you. Like, you need to always get something back to the family. You are not supposed to start, gambling yourself with people, trying to be like people who are dependent on their families. Those ones have people who pump in money for them. So they can buy anything, they can spend on anything because they don't even know the value of those things. Now you yourself, you are working so hard to make money, not just for yourself, but for the family too. There are people that every month when they have their monies, the money is for them, themselves, and themselves. There are people like that, they have people under them that anyhow, there's just no how that they will not send money to. There's a way money just leaves them. You will not try to become like those people who don't have any problem, who don't have any responsibility. So trying to become like those people is a problem. It's going to be a very big problem. Influence from friends, trying to be like somebody. That's a part of it. Another part of influence is somebody that you have around people who just like to spend. Let's sit out here. And when they go and buy drinks that, like somebody said, Dorime is not for civil servants. So you just go, you see one drink that is like, is like your 3 months salary, and you go and buy. And next week they call you again, you want to sit down to as Dora place, and you go, you don't want to sit there. Very soon, being broke will be an understatement. You will be so broke that, so you need to understand yourself and know the kind of people that you bring to. In fact, it's not a must that you have friends. It's not a must. It's not a must that you have so many friends. Let me not say it, because we need people in our life. But for Christ's sake, you don't need so many people in your life. You don't need crazy people in your life. I'm not saying that spending money is not good. Spending money is good when you have the money and you have enough of it. And you have enough streams of incomes. But when you are spending money and you do not have some financial freedom, you are really going to have problems. Aside from money, there are other influences that your friends and peers can bring to you that can cause failure to you. What about bad advices? Bad advice from friends and bad life, bad way of living. Yeah, because of course, like I said, you cannot be totally different from the set of people that you hang around yourself with. So if you hang around yourself with people who smoke, definitely one day you're going to start smoking. People who steal, definitely one day they'll give you a gun and you will join them. So, who are your friends? They're going to also be a part of your life to determine your failure or your success. So, I think procrastination. Procrastination is also a problem. I think I have a book on procrastination here. That book talks about Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. Eat That Frog. If you have a way to get that book, get it. Eat That Frog. What this book is talking about is this. For Christ's sake, whatever you postpone today is going to meet up with the things you're supposed to do tomorrow. And that is more workload for you. You might be thinking you are relieving yourself. You are relieving yourself to offset yourself tomorrow. So are there things, it still boils down to the things I talk about, the 3 seasons of our life. There are so many people that came to realize why they are on earth at age 30. So now, they're already in the afternoon doing what they were supposed to do in the morning. So you know what that means. It will only take God to restore time for them. So you need to understand timing, because the argument of this life is time. Everything we do is time. Today is 8th October 2020, and I don't know what the time is now, but when today is gone, there will be no 8th October 2022. Time doesn't wait for anybody. And it's being given to everybody equally, so you don't have any reason to say, okay, it's because my own time was less. Everybody have 24 hours. Procrastination is very bad. It steals time. And whatever steals your time, whatever junks your time is going to land you in failure if it is not something productive. And I think those are procrastinators, lazy people, because it doesn't take anything to do what you're supposed to do today. There are things for you to do tomorrow. Tomorrow has own problems. So taking today's problems to give tomorrow means that even that tomorrow, you will not finish tomorrow's problem. So you will also take again. So you see, it accumulates. Procrastination accumulates failure. That's what it is. So the last one, I think, should be the last one, is the reason why we fail is because we give up easily. We give up easily. Our problem is the problem of the mind, I said. Think about the first time you played a video game. For those of you that plays video game, be honest, did you let failure discourage you? There's a game called Temple Run. And when I started playing that game, I know how many times that dragon ate me. You will think you have arrived stage 2, and now you want to jump, and as you are jumping, you're not too careful, there's something else you need to jump, and then you fail. So now, when you failed in that game, did you just throw your phone away? No, you went back. In fact, in your mind, you said, this game, I must reach stage 10. So why is it in life, when you just fail small, just one failure, one small failure, you now fold your hands, you now say, no, I'm not doing it again. Why? So you see, the problem is our mind. It's our mind. In the video game, you were so encouraged to do more. You were so encouraged to go again. In fact, you made up your mind that you will not eat until you have crossed that stage. But what happened in real life? There's a little failure. Someone just said, don't worry, that job, I won't give it to you again. We are giving it to someone else. And you were like, wow. The man that built the electric bulb that we have now, you can imagine how that he failed how many times? 99 times. 99 is not 9 and 9. It's not 9. It's 99. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, up to 50, up to 70, up to 80, up to 90, and then 90 and 9. Somebody failed and kept saying, there is a better way to do this. You know, it inspires me so much that this guy, is it that he wasn't disturbed? Is it that he wasn't discouraged? Like you did something, you failed. Again, you failed. Again, you failed. Like you already knew this thing was going to. Something tells me if he had failed on the 100th time, he would still continue. That's the spirit of those who succeed. You don't give up easily. When you give up easily in life, come on. You know what? You've just wasted your resources. You've wasted energy and everything that you ever believed on starting that journey. So that's the reason why you need to know the journey first. If you know the journey and you are so sure that success is waiting for you, no matter how many times you fail, it's just going to be a new way. It's just going to open up to new ways on how you can succeed. So I said, obstacles are not there to destroy our destiny. They are signposts letting you know that success is just around the corner. Obstacles are there to keep the uncommitted out. They qualify you for success. Don't get discouraged when things seem impossible. Remember, it is the darkest part of the night that gives rise to a new day. Thomas Edison is the one I was trying to talk about that made that. Now, Thomas Edison was a very successful inventor and a scientist and a businessman. Thomas Edison is an example of a successful scientist who lived with failure just to become successful. Imagine a man that said, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Nothing happens until you become discontented. It is only hunger that makes you look for food to eat. It's only sickness that will drive you to take drugs. It's only failure that will push you to succeed. When you want to give up, it's either you have forgotten your initial purpose or you love your present situation. Our success is nothing more than a collection of educated knowledge and experience gained from our failures. We grow smarter and stronger, wiser and more fortified each time we fail. Remember, winners never quit and quitters never win. Alright, so this book is a very wonderful book. I don't know, possibly I'll come again to talk about the other part of the book. You need this book. If you are interested in getting this book, I would love you to just say, I'm interested in the comment section, and I'll send you a link that you can use to download the book. It's very, very important. I wrote the book some years back, and when I just started seeing so many things in the news, seeing things that happen in the world, and I felt, no, so many people just need to be charged up. They need to get motivated. They need to understand that, no, there is something missing. There's a reason why they are where they are. That if they need to get to this knowledge, that they will actually make a change. Remember that nothing changes until it is changed. No matter whatever you are going through, if you don't change the situation, it will continue repeating itself. So, until next time when we have to do this, thank you for watching this video. God bless you.